Hello friends, you're listening to Profoundish. It's Weston here, and boy do I have a special episode for you. It is the missing episode 89. We recorded this over a year ago, if you can believe that, so some of the information might be a little bit outdated, but we resurfaced a missing episode from a long time ago. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, this is the missing episode 89 that you may or may not have noticed. We went episode 88 to 90. We've had a missing episode this entire time, and this is it. We'll be talking a lot of creativity, YouTube, the importance of creative resets, and we're going to talk some video game talk. It's kind of really relaxed. Alex was traveling during this episode, so he's a little echoey, but it's a good episode all the same. I won't hold you guys up any longer. Let's get to Profoundish. Look, I got my wash your hands shirt.
Oh, I love it.
I no longer sell them. They are gone.
Why is that?
I changed my store. I changed my store entirely. And I'm like, this is it. This was the last one. Well, this was technically the first one, but no more. I'm all drinkware, baby. My Magic Memo shop sells mugs and water bottles and wine tumblers, and that's it. It's like drinks, just drinkware and stickers.
What was that last part?
Stickers.
And stickers. Well, you could try and drink a sticker. I don't know.
You could. I think that falls under eating, but maybe if you blended it, liquefied it first, the glue. Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
So why'd you cut out the
apparel?
Wearables?
I just thought, like, between figuring out colors, sizing, placement of graphics on shirts, I thought all of that was a little bit more than I cared to deal with anymore. Moving forward, when I get new designs out, I've actually removed, that's the other thing, I've removed some designs. Actually, I think the wash your hands shirt design, like the design's not even available right now. I limited my designs. I'm cleaning up the store. I'm going to release new stuff eventually, but I've been doing work on the store. That's the idea. It's like, you know what, drinkware, I like to have a good mug. And now I sell 3 different kinds of mug. I have 2 different kinds of just standard mug, and I even have a camping mug.
That's cool.
Which is more like kind of like the Ridge style or whatever. It's like I have 3 different kinds of mug, and then I've got different kinds of water bottles and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I like drinking things out of containers. So that's what I'm going with.
It makes sense. I'm always up for a new mug. Always. That's the one thing. I love not collecting them, but anytime there's an opportunity to get either a cheap mug or a free mug on rare occasions, I'll get it. Especially if it's things with logos or brands I like or whatever.
And then with the other thing, too, in particular, being a Let's Player and streamer, if I'm going to promote any of my merchandise, it's probably not going to be the apparel because I have that whole uniform thing that I do. So, but I could be drinking out of a cup. This is not one of my cups. This is a zoo cup. But I could be drinking out of my cup.
Right. I'm actually a little behind on my Weston Hasty / Magic Man Mo merch, so I might need to pick up a cup soon. You still have your Hasty Podcast mugs, right?
I do.
Okay.
Those are still up. I've been trying to buy a 2P's pod mug for like the last year and a half, and I just never did. I just keep forgetting to.
Well,
that's been on my to-do list. I don't know if it's still there. If it is, it's still on my to-do.
That's awesome. Well, it is still there, and keep that on your to-do. That means a lot. But I would wait. Pretty soon I'm going to update that store myself because it's got the old... I don't like how it scales out when you print it out, but because my mom bought a mug, I want to fix that before... Oh, no, I lied. Never mind. The mug is fine.
You're probably thinking of the shirt?
The shirt was the issue.
Because that's the other issue with graphics, depending on where you got your graphics from. Because I think Pinata designed that design, I think. So depending on what he used, I don't know... And I don't know anything about design, but like if his DPI count wasn't high enough, it won't scale big enough or whatever. So that's the other thing about designing like shirts and things that you wear that are going to be big designs. You have to actually design that out with a lot of DPI or pixels or whatever per inch.
The more you learn, the less you know. That is such a true statement because I didn't know what DPI was a year ago. And I've always done... I mean, I've never also really done design professionally, period, right? But I know at my day job I'll dabble with it. And I remember I took this beautiful photo and I tweaked it up, and they wanted to really blow it up really big, right? And I thought, I know how to edit photos and blah blah blah, right? But I guess there were specifications that were required for, like DPI specifications, right, for it to be blown up to the size. I'm talking this image. It was like 14 feet by like 8 feet. It was huge. It was for like a booth, like at like a convention for something. And I blew it up, and an amazing camera, right? I used this like super high quality camera that the company owns, and it looked like crap.
Yeah.
But how is this possible? And then we learned that, and they figured I knew what I was doing with DPI, but then I didn't, and then I realized what that actually was, and I thought, it doesn't matter if I export this at 10,000 by 10,000 or whatever, you need the actual. I just never knew. So, and then I had to look up what that meant, how to change that, and everything. It makes me realize like design truly is a whole nother facet of digital artistry that I know absolutely nothing about.
Yeah, it's almost as if people that do that kind of work have a job. Like that's actually a skill. Like they have a skill, like a talent or something.
Right.
That's like a thing.
It's like, yeah, sure, I can sit there and make a YouTube thumbnail like in Adobe Premiere. Yeah, I could do that. But like,
because that's the thing too. When it's all already digital and you're not going to print a thing, if it's all digital, yeah, some of that stuff matters. But you're mostly worried about like aspect ratios, and you're worried more about like resolution. You're not really worried about like how it will print onto a thing.
Right. That's the part of it I've never thought about. Not to mention the absolute monster that Photoshop actually is.
Yeah.
Photoshop is a monster. Like it's a scary monster that I don't ever want to really learn how to use.
I never have. MS Paint and whatever video editor I'm using. So right now Premiere. Yeah. And that's all my photo editing is done in a video editor and MS Paint.
Have you ever really messed with Photoshop at all?
No, I've messed with Blender a little bit way back when I was messing around with designing a video game, but that didn't go very far. It was a lot of information, and I didn't know what I was looking at, so I messed with it, but I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah. I was just curious, because it's wild. From what I've seen, what people can do on it, it is absolutely incredible. Like, it's such a beast to figure out. But I'm also I love a good interface. I guess who doesn't, right? But that interface has been the same for 20 years, and it's always sucked. And I'm assuming, just based on historical events, it'll continue to suck till the end of time. So I'm never going to take the time to figure it out. They've had its own language and everything, and it's terrible.
Part of the issue with that is if they change it, and they change it too much, the old guard will be upset. Like, I've been doing my job the same way for 20 years. You changed it, now I can't find anything. So you upset your actually long-standing users. Now, you can change things a little bit over a long period of time, and people will adapt slowly to that. But again, if they start doing that, it'll be a slow change.
That's kind of that's like the smartphone model with the updates. That's what they always do. Like anytime like an iPhone or like a Android updates, they always, every time there's a new update, they push out to you. It's never a complete change. There are some changes, but the fundamental things you need to do are usually kind of in the same place. Maybe apps will look a little different, or there's a difference, whatever. But yeah, that makes complete sense. I would hate it if we woke up one day and Adobe said, "Yep, guess what? Here we go, it's changing." Or another thing they do is they'll say, "Listen, we're about to undergo a huge appearance change in 3 months, so prepare yourself. You can get used to it now." They do that with Google Ads. I use that a lot for the same company I work for, Google Ads and stuff. And for like months, they were warning you. They were saying, "We're letting you know ahead of time that we're going to completely change how this looks and feels. If you want to get a feel for it now, click this button and try it out." So now, of course, you probably know me well enough, Weston. Of course you do. That I'd never clicked that link, and I just kept using it the way that I used it. And then one day I came into work. I'm like, "What the heck program is this?"
I've got 30 minutes to do something, and now I can't do it at all.
Right. If I were Google, I would have we told you so. Like, we've been
Told
telling you for
we
months.
That does remind me a little bit of, I don't remember what they were calling the layout, but when they were just changing over the YouTube creator dashboard to the way it looks now, and that when that was new, they did that. They had the old way, and they had a thing like, try out our new look or whatever. It was like their beta or whatever. And I actually remember jumping on that super early, and it was still missing features, so I was still jumping back and forth. You could jump back to the old version, and I'm like, well, I think especially playlists were just not a thing you could edit or touch in the new version at the time. So I was like putting into my beta comments or whatever, sending like, you have to add these things. Like, I need these things. And I'm sure they were working on it at the time, but that was my input, right? And I was a part of that. Usually if I get enough advance notice on a thing that I use frequently, I'm actually the guy that does click the button and look at the new stuff right away.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting. It's funny. I don't remember. I mean, I've used YouTube for ages, but I can't remember the last iteration of Creator Studio. Was this before it was called Creator Studio?
See, I don't remember what it was called. It might have still been.
Was it just like your settings, or whatever, or like your analytics, or whatever?
I feel like it had another name, but I think it was still Studio. But then I think when they were changing over to the new Studio, they may have had like a different nickname for it, like go over to Creator Studio 1 or something. Like 1 is not what I think it was called. That was like Xbox One or something. But I think it had a name, but now it's just Creator Studio. I don't remember if the old one had a different name. I think it might have been the same. I don't remember, but
it's an interesting thought, because the last huge change on the back end I remember was just simply when, and I can't even remember when it was exactly, but I remember it really did look like YouTube was really pushing. No, this was, I don't know how many years ago, but it's when the app came out where you could actually like the
Studio app,
Studio app. And it was around this time. Now, even that's been around for years now. But before that time, it was, you had to log into your computer, you had to go to your analytics, and you could look at some things there. But it just didn't feel as friendly for the creators. It felt at the time much more primarily like the viewers. It's like you had your channel, that you could look at your stuff if you wanted to. At least that was my perception at the time. And then when that happened, it really legitimized creators. Like, this is like, we want you to be able to see all of this stuff. We want you to create. We want you to continue to make stuff on our platform. It really felt more focused on that, when before it really kind of felt like not an afterthought, but just not quite as, I guess, focused on as a platform.
Yeah, they really fleshed out their back end. Like, you feel like as a creator, you have access to a back end for what you do. Obviously, you don't have access to YouTube's back end, its code and all that crap. But like, you feel like you have your front end, your forward facing, your videos, you show everybody, here's all the front stuff. And now I feel like I've got a space I go back to with just a slew of features that is my back end. Everything that I could possibly want to do to mess with my channel is there. And again, analytics got crazy in depth. Your content has all these tabs now between your shorts and live streams and videos and playlists and community posts and podcasts. So like, it's very fleshed out now, and the app has come a long ways too, because I use the app daily to check in with whatever I feel like checking in with. So.
Oh man, the Studio app, man, that's. It's so funny because you and I've talked about before, I've kind of really cut back on my phone usage and social media usage, but one app I still open every day is the Studio app. Usually more than once.
Open it up, refresh it, check the sub count and the view count on your latest video, and then whatever else you want to look at.
I know. I love it and I hate it. Like, sometimes I'll do some really in-depth looking at it too. But for the most part, it really is just a quick, especially on my newer venture, VGM Quest. I'll always check it out and just see. Because that channel's small enough to where every single view and every single sub matters, and it's obvious, So, like, if I see another subscriber, it's really exciting. On my main channel, that stuff kind of honestly blurs a little bit now, just because it grows enough to where I don't really pay attention to the actual, like, sub numbers or view numbers, but I look at other stuff. But VGM Quest, every time I'm like, oh, yes, I got 7 more views today. Yes.
I feel like, and actually the number one thing that I probably use my app for is just reading comments. But I do feel like after comments is a huge part of it. But the sub count and view count, I'll check that, but especially after a video that I really care about or really want to do well, then I'm checking it a lot more often. So I could see it like with VGM Quest, where it's like a lot more important per video because you're releasing them so much less frequently than your main channel.
Right.
Not that your main channel's like daily or anything, but like, oh, I want to see this channel take off, so you feel like you're checking that a lot. And then every comment that comes through, it's like, okay, I want to read that, probably respond to that, and that kind of thing.
Oh, so. Yeah. The comments are a wonderful addition. I mean, I'm so used to it now, but it is so nice, especially when I drop a new medley. I also want to be very engaged the first day or two when a medley drops every month. And so it's so nice being able to respond right directly there, because usually I won't be at the house when I put out a medley, so it's just nice to be able to do that on the go. It's a great app. I remember that night when you and I were together at my house a couple summers ago, and we were just like exchanging our YouTube analytics info to each other, and like we were just nerding out over that stuff, and it was super fun. And we were just like showing each other's screens. Yeah, here's what I got. Here's what you got. You know.
And how vastly different our information is, because we do different genres, we have different audiences. It's vastly different.
It's so funny. I was so surprised because like you and I talk about it all the time, like, but we rarely see it, right? We usually just talk about what we got going on. We kind of saw it, and I remember thinking at the time that I was surprised, but then I don't know why I was surprised, because we are so vastly different in what we make.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's because we've always been.
To be fair, especially my stuff, I do have some surprising statistics. So, like, even if you were a gamer like me, you'd be like, you have that big of a female audience? That's weird. Oh, you have that big of an international audience? Like, only a quarter of your viewers are even United States?
That's
like,
wild.
What is going on with your channel? And I'm like, I don't know. So, to be fair, I've got some pretty weird stats.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the app. I love Creator Studio. The thing about the app that I don't like, though, it's actually for the same thing that you just said about a video that you're really excited about.
Yeah.
Hoping it does well and stuff. Well, that can also be to your detriment when you have unlimited access to check it every 4 seconds if you want, and watch that video you just put out slowly not do what you want it to do and not perform.
Yeah, you have to space it out. You can't be like, I can't check my stats every 10 minutes. I know for a fact I'm not getting 1,000 freaking viewers per 10 minutes. It's not happening. So like you have to give your video space to breathe, do the rounds, people to discover it, do the sharing. You can't just release the video. It's like a video game, right? Actually, I was playing this game a month ago, YouTuber Tycoon or something like that. It came out forever ago. And it's like you release a video and you instantly know, oh, wow, this did well. You got 10 billion subscribers. It doesn't work that way. Life's not a video game. You have to give it space to breathe.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
Which does segue me a little bit into my topic today.
Oh.
Just a little bit. I wanted to talk about resets.
Okay.
A little bit. A little bit of an odd topic, but it was something that I was thinking about a lot, and especially with you moving to your new studio, and this is how he's going to permanently sound and look, everybody, from here on out.
Yeah, hold the recess thought. I wanted to say that at the beginning, and I did it. So, yeah, this is my new home. No, actually, I do stay here a lot. No, I'm at Steph's apartment. For those of you who don't know, Steph is my significant other. I'm cat sitting and I'm plant sitting right now. So, and you'll see why it requires someone to stay here, not for the cat, but for the plants. So, I hope she doesn't mind me showing her apartment. So there's 2 monsteras right there. There's 3 more plants right there. There's another giant monstera. There's another plant. There's another plant. There's about 7 or 8 other plants. I'm not going to show her the whole house, but there's another 7 or 8.
Starts walking around the house, goes outside, shows off the address.
Here's her underwear
just docks
drawer.
her.
Here's her closet, just showing. But there are plants everywhere. So apologies for those of you who are just listening and don't see where I'm at. I'm in a different location that's not kind of studio ready. So, or sound or audio, whatever it is, not soundproof, but
don't worry. I definitely explained that in the intro of this episode. Okay. Alex will sound a little unusual today.
Yes, I hope you do that. That sounds good. But anyway, resets.
Yes. So I was thinking about it quite a bit because here recently I took a little over an entire month off of YouTube stuff. I wasn't streaming or uploading or doing anything. A large part of that was I was on vacation and I wasn't making anything. And the other large part is I was just busy and I had too much going on at weird times that like I was like, I'll get to that. And I just didn't. And then vacation happened. And then before I knew it, it was a little over a month since I had made anything on YouTube. And I think it was probably leading right up into vacation, I actually came to peace with the idea that like, oh, nothing's going to go up and I'm just going to have to be okay with that. Because normally if I go too long without doing something for YouTube, I get a little antsy, like, oh, people are waiting on a new video or a new stream or whatever. Yeah. Or sometimes I get the comments like, oh, where's Mo at? That kind of thing. So you get a little,
yes.
Yeah, you get a little antsy, like, oh, I want to put an update out. Or I didn't even make an update. I didn't even say diddly. I just vanished off the face of the earth on YouTube for a month. Sure. So I got to thinking about that a little bit. Is that now that I'm back into making stuff, I felt differently about what I was doing than I was just up until the point I left. And what I mean by this, I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but I felt refreshed. Like something in my brain ticked over, and I'm not doing anything radically different, but I feel like I'm undergoing a soft reset of some kind. And with you creating a brand new channel like VGM Quest, I wanted to talk about not just our YouTube stuff, but if it's relevant, anything where we've either done like a soft reset on something that we're doing, or whether or not that's something creative, something that's like a life thing, whatever it could be. I just know that here recently, I was streaming on Twitch randomly instead of YouTube because I just wanted to play something that I wouldn't normally do on YouTube. And I didn't do face cam. I have a little PNG tuber that I set up forever ago that I can whip out, and I've got a little face that screams at you when I talk, and then when I don't talk, it's just a normal face.
I gotta check that out. That's awesome.
So I was just streaming on Twitch, just some XCOM, just like a game that I would normally play, and it felt just super relaxed. People did show up. I was chatting. It just felt so much like there was so much air to breathe. As opposed to like, for some reason, streaming on YouTube, my usual stuff was starting to feel claustrophobic. Not that I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, but it's in hindsight that I'm like, oh, I felt really claustrophobic. Yeah. And I felt a little more airy now. And then I announced my Inca Games Round 3, the Spanishing. So now I'm doing Inca Games again. But it feels so different because I'm coming at it with completely fresh eyes because I'm playing their entire series in Spanish, and now I don't know what I'm doing all over again because it's in a different language.
Sure.
And I'm like, I just feel like this is new, but not, and I feel like it's a reset of some kind. I feel kind of excited about it.
Well, good for you. I mean, that's fantastic. First, I just want to say I'm happy and proud of you for coming back in general, just feeling that way, because it is so easy to, well, you said at the very beginning, you said you've kind of come to peace with the fact that sometimes you're not going to be able to put stuff out, and it is what it is, and, trying not to let that kind of bother you. That's something that I've struggled with as well for years, and it's definitely subsided over the years where, it is what it is, and at the end of the day, you can only do so much, and sometimes you need the break, or sometimes you need the refresh or the reset. So good for you for being able to get to this place. I find myself getting to that place myself these days where it's like sometimes I either don't want to do something or I'm just not feeling it. I think maybe the only difference between you and me is that I've been able to identify the claustrophobic feeling maybe a little bit sooner, but I just didn't know how to deal with it, and I didn't know that a reset was needed maybe and that sort of thing. But I knew that I felt it, but I didn't know what to do. So, but I'm kind of past that now. VGM Quest was a great outlet and stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. I think that's great because it's not good to hold on to that. Usually it's only a couple people who comment too and say like, where are you at? It's never like, at least for channels our size. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you get a million people that do it. But for me, it could just be, I could be gone for, for me, a hiatus would be longer than a month because I post monthly content. But,
right.
For me, if I have a 3-month hiatus or longer, it used to really bother me. And I think after a few months, of course, people are going to comment. But I would just get 1 or 2, literally 2. And it would really be like, I know, I got to get back at it. I know. But then, of course, we struggle to get back at it because we're kind of wanting to do something different. We box ourselves in. And so I think that the best way that probably the most best way I could just kind of repeat what you said in my own terms would be not VGM Quest so much, but even sooner, my new direction with my main channel.
Okay.
Which is, I think it's kind of more in line with what you're doing, which is I'm still doing medleys, right? But like I talked to you before personally, like off camera, about the medleys that I do, and that has felt freeing, and that has felt refreshing. You know, instead of doing medleys that with theme songs that I just simply, I don't care about, you know, just matter of fact, I don't care about these things. You know, I loved the medleys multiple years ago where I loved every show that I watched and I played their songs and I was celebrating the shows that I liked and the theme songs that I liked and that represented an era of time in pop culture and whatever. And now that that's been my return this year. And I thought I still want to make medleys because I had the short period of time where I didn't want to do a reset, but I almost wanted to kind of do just like an indefinite hiatus. I don't know if it'd come back or not, whatever. I considered that for a short while. But then I thought, no, I do enjoy the medleys. I just don't enjoy the ones that I'm making. Okay. So I thought, okay, there's a refresh.
Yeah.
So there's a reset. And I think it's a good balance. And I want to thank you, Weston. You gave me some simple, but I think effective advice. Like I have the tendency, Weston knows this, to over-explain things and just keep kind of beating a dead horse with something. And I remember what I wanted to do was to make an announcement about the reset and say, hey, I'm sure you remember talking about this a couple months ago, just saying, hey, I'm going to be doing a new direction. I'm still going to be doing medleys, but they're going to be more television shows, movie themes, other things that are important to me that keep the passion and the fun and the joy that comes from making them alive in me. And then you said, you know, you could do it if you want to, but honestly, I would just post and just kind of see where it goes, because that might actually deter viewers from even trying out a new video, when otherwise they might if they just see it pop up on their feed. Like, Alex kept putting a new video out, I'll give it a shot, you know. And I'm glad you did that, because I put out my most recent one's my Nick at Night medley, which is not quite on brand with it. That was supposed to be a transitional video because it's still kind of Nick, but my Nick at Night medley with a bunch of shows that I love. And I thought that's not really on brand with a lot of the medleys I've done lately. And it actually performed very well, a lot better than I thought it would. And so anyway, I want to thank you for kind of talking me off that well, not off the ledge. I wasn't going to quit or do something like that.
Nothing
but, you know,
that dramatic,
but talking me down a bit. That helped. And
yeah.
But anyway, so for me, that's what it's been. That has been my most recent creative reset. Has just been taking something I already love doing, but finding out what put the joy in it to begin with. How did I lose the joy, and how can I bring the joy back? And I did. And I haven't been this happy making medleys in a long time. So that's great. So that's my most recent reset.
I'm trying to think in terms of, because here actually just recently, this isn't shown up on my channel yet. I've got I mentioned my Inca Games round 3, the Spanishing. So that feels like a little bit of a return to form in some ways. So it's like a soft reset, like we're kind of coming back to something that a lot of people like seeing. And then in a lot of other ways, in terms of my reset, I'm looking at, I've talked about it before, but never really pulled the trigger on it, was focusing more on like point and clicky stuff as opposed to just a little bit of everything in terms of variety. And so I've really narrowed down the stuff that I've been looking at doing on my channel. And I've been playing Children of Silent Town. It's a point-and-click adventure game, came out a year or 2 or 3 ago. Pretty recent or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's this just adorable game about these kids that are going missing in the middle of the night in this scary town. But it's a great, cool point-and-click game, and I'm recording it. I'm not streaming it. I'm just recording it and playing it. And I'm like, man, I haven't just sat down and done this, like, in this style in so long that it's just... Oh, meow. Your cat.
Everybody say hi to Sadie. She might come by. Hi,
hey, Sadie.
She's a very talkative cat, just a warning.
it just feels like a return to form in a lot of ways and a soft reset. And I'm kind of just excited about it. And combining that with some of the other stuff I'm doing away from YouTube. So this has kind of come with that month of being away from YouTube has given me perspective that perhaps I spent too much time trying to figure out the YouTube schedule. So like in terms of doing the streams and the videos and that kind of thing, there was too much of that happening. And I have too much that I'm trying to do that's not YouTube. So like recently the book that I wrote,
Right.
Smiling for the Sky by me on Amazon. Go get it, buy it, check it out, read it, whatever. Just saying. But then also the other stuff that I'm working on where I'm I hate to say writing. I'm trying to write. I've hit a few writer's blocks, but I'm trying to write this other thing right now that I'm hoping will be out to start reading at the beginning of June. So we'll see if I can stick to that, if I stick that landing or if it'll be pushed back to July. So I'm doing this other thing is what I'm trying to say. So this writing book that I put out was also this sort of life reset a little bit where it's like I've got all these other things that I want to do and I haven't had the perspective on life to give myself the time in my life to do these things. So like going to this like reset thing where it's like I feel like I'm undergoing this transition where I'm like resetting my not priorities, but my priorities, my perspective.
Sure.
I don't know what the word is exactly. I'm like putting like a reset on that. It's like what is the actual eventual goal of XYZ? So for YouTube, it was like, what's the actual goal that I'm trying to achieve on YouTube other than it was a fun hobby that I started in like 2012 that has just been a thing that I've been doing forever. It's like, well, what's the goal here? And then what are my other goals? So the goal with the YouTube thing, with this reset, I'm like, well, realistically, it's not like I'm doing this to pay the bills. I have another full-time job and another part-time job and so many hobbies. So what's the goal? I'm like, oh, it's got to be something that can consume this percentage of my life and achieve this much fulfillment. So what gets me to that level of fulfillment? And right now it's actually narrowing down the scope of what I'm doing, but that I'm doing is more consistent, reliable, and fun for me, but it stays in its box. It's not all consuming.
Right. That makes, sorry, the cat's back again.
All
That
right.
makes, that makes the sense. That makes the sense. That makes sense.
That makes the sense.
It makes all of the sense,
The
Weston.
nickels and the dimes.
I want to go back to kind of what you said because once again, you and I, maybe I don't know what it is. We have similar lives in what we do in certain ways, and we're very close. We're pretty much the same age, and so I don't know. We're kind of undergoing these things together, so it's kind of funny that you bring this up because, yeah, I feel the same exact way, and I feel like it is a mixture of a change of perception, but also a change of priorities, and also just change, period. Changing, growing, maturing, right? So as we change and as we age, what's going to happen? Our priorities are going to change. And I think what we want, our goals, even our goals will change. And I think that's completely healthy, completely normal. It just is what it is. And I think we're just kind of getting to that point. You know, we've both been doing YouTube specifically for over 10 years. I've been technically doing YouTube since 2007. So, oh, Jesus, that's like 15. That's over. Oh, my God, that's a long time.
That was
That's a long
also
time.
different. That was a different kind of content, and the concept of a YouTuber was definitely not a thing. That was
Right.
idiosyncrasy.
Right, but that was a focus though. Then it was like I want to make videos, even if it's only a couple a year. I want it, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. Put them on YouTube, and I think this, yeah, as we get older, our priorities change, and I know for me, it's been a similar thing. If you would have told me if we're going to kind of go by kind of like with some life refreshers or resets. I've thought a lot about goals myself. I've thought a lot about what I want to be, not who I want to be, but what I want to be, what I want to do. And even that has changed for me. And it's kind of, for example, I know when I moved to Tennessee, it's almost 6 years ago now. When I moved to Tennessee, I was in a very different place in what I wanted to do. And, which was really I really wanted to make music. I wanted to make me in a live performance way. I wanted to perform. I wanted to get on stage. I wanted to, you know, kind of be in the music industry in a very traditional sense. And then as I've gotten older, I've learned, and I think once again that's kind of that third facet, right? Perception, priorities change, but I think those do change because we change. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that I don't like a lot of the stuff that comes with performance. You know, I don't like staying out till 3 a.m., right? Playing in bars, right?
You got old.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I've gotten old. That's not really, and I know that there's some rockers out there. I've played with plenty of them in my time back in Illinois and in Tennessee. They're 70 years old and they are still doing it because they love it. And I love that for them. But I've learned for me, for one reason or another, that's actually not what I want to do. I love playing live, but it's not something I want to really put a focus on. So that's when that part of my identity, that what do I want to be? What do I want to do? Kind of changed from that to much more, I want to make a living. Of course, I have my full-time job too, but at least as of now. But like, I want to make my living making music, but not performing it, but, you know, kind of making it for hire, whether it's for, you know, for short films or for video games specifically is really what I would love to do, and other things too. Because that's really where not only I think my strong suit really is sitting down and composing a piece of music based on whatever instructions you throw at me. I love doing that. But also it's what brings me more joy, right? There's no element that I dislike about it. So I think for me, that was a pretty big reset in recent years. And I'm pretty happy that I kind of came to grips with that, because sometimes you can look back at something, like we say we've done YouTube for so long, and you know you're compartmentalizing how much time you can give to every single thing, kind of like what you're saying. There's only so many hours in a day, and you really need to, once you do kind of reprioritize, it just changes things. I don't know. I never would have thought, like 5 years ago when I was doing YouTube, I was 25. If I were to have this conversation with you at that time, I would go, how can I get more videos out on YouTube more quickly? What do I need to restructure? What do I need to do? And at the time, maybe that was totally fine, right? I mean, that's where I was at that particular time. But just like you, I have other focuses too that don't necessarily revolve around our YouTube channels. And it's true, like, it would be amazing to pay the bills with YouTube, and who knows, it may still happen. Likely won't, but I understand that it is still kind of up in the air. You never know. But if it's something you still enjoy doing, even if you change the scheduling, the frequency at which you do it, if it still brings you joy, for me, joy is becoming such an increasingly important word in my life. Like, what brings me joy? You know, I only have so much time here. I might as well enjoy it. How do I enjoy it? And putting aside those thoughts of trying, I got to get the next video out as soon as I can because that's what I have to do. Like, why do you have to do it? Why? Do you want it to break big and you get $1 million? Do you want to do it because it brings you joy? Why do you want to do it? And I don't want to put out the next video as quickly as I can because it brings me joy. That's not the joyful part. Right? The part that's joyful should be the creating it. And if you enjoy it. So I think it's really getting back to that, or maybe getting to that for the first time, I might even say, is a huge refresh, sounds like, in both of our lives, just to kind of different degrees. But like with you, it's so great that you're really putting a focus on something that brings you joy. You don't write because you feel like you have to do it. You're wanting to do it. Even though writer's block sucks a big one, and I know it does because it happens to me with songwriting and VGM Quest for that matter, to a different degree, but that's what's important. And who knows, I bet you when you're 40 years old, 10 years from now, your priorities will be different again. Or maybe they won't be. It all is fluid.
I hope they are different, but I hope it's like in the trajectory I imagine they'll be different. In another 10 years, I really want to be that eclectic dude that does like 17 things and you wonder how you make money doing any of them. and
Right.
somehow, but together they all get there.
Yeah. Honestly, I've thought about that too. It's like if I just have to do like 11 different things that that I like, but I can make a living doing it. Let me do it. I'll make video game music. I'll make medleys. I'll make BGM quiz videos. I'll do whatever else. I'm the same exact way. How does he do it? I have like 14 podcasts.
I secretly love having several things that I do. I don't like the idea of like I just do the one thing. I don't like that. And currently the thing that annoys me the most is my current full-time job. I'm like, if I didn't have 40 hours into that job, I could have 10 hours into 4 different things instead.
I don't know how unhealthy it is to think that way, but I think that way too. So
yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's
same thing.
better. I'm just saying like, well, that game development I gave up on a long time ago. Well, if I had 10 hours a week to put to it, maybe I'd have an indie game in 2 years.
Can I give you another example? And this is kind of in line with that. Another reset for me has been on the back end of doing what we're trying to do and doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have talked about this before, maybe even on the pod a little bit, but I had a reset. I've had 2. I had one about a year ago, maybe a year and a half now, about how I structure my time and how I structure my production time and how I really schedule my days even. And I have found that through this new process, it's not even new anymore, but when I started doing it and scheduling everything out on a calendar, actually it's technically on a Gantt chart, which is funny. Like I use this thing that's meant for usually like small or large businesses to use to see what everyone's doing. I use it for me because in my head it clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But doing this, I have found that I can do less work and get more done. And work less time is what I mean. I work less time and I get more work done. I found a lot of kind of hiccups in my processes and a lot of times where I've been distracted and stuff, and I've really kind of tightened that up. That's a reset that happened, like just how I schedule how I do things. And then this year, I've also talked to you about it, but he asked about like kind of life ones too. This is a quick one, but I told you that I quit writing anything digital. I am fully notebooks. I have a journal. I write all of my stuff down. Even if it's a one-time thing and you cross it out 5 minutes later, I do that. And for me, in my life, that has been amazing. I think I told you the other day I carry a little pocket notebook with me wherever I go. One's about this big, sitting over there right now. And like if somebody tells me, hey, you should listen to this, all right, I'll write it down, and I'll look at it later, I'll listen to it. For me, I have found a much greater focus, and I find myself remembering things way better than I ever have before. Because once again, there's something about from your brain to your hand to the paper.
Yeah.
And so that was a decision that I made. I don't know why I made the decision, but actually I kind of do. I think I actually went down a YouTube rabbit hole, ironically enough, a digital rabbit hole, and I learned about the benefits of writing and journaling and just writing, more writing than anything, just writing things down. And that has completely, I felt like that was just kind of a soft reset of my life. That's what it felt like doing, but it has transformed the daily processes of my life more than I ever could have imagined. I feel like I'm a different person. I really do. And my life is different. Even though I live in the same town, I live in the same house, I have the same life. But just from that alone, I feel like my thought processes are different. How I see the world is different just from writing. It's incredible. So that small reset ended up being a bigger than I ever thought it would be.
I imagine in the way a lot of people might play a video game, you hit that reset button on the PlayStation, or you go in, for me, if it's XCOM, you hit the restart level because you just accidentally killed off all your guys to the aliens. You're like, well, that's because I made some mistakes, and I want to do everything the same except this thing because it'll make a huge difference. In a similar way that you might hit the reset button on a video game, and like not everything's different, I feel like that's still some kind of reset that I think is important and can really structure our decisions moving forward. And just like a video game, I thought for the second segment, for the next 20 minutes, we'll be talking video game franchises and how much they mean to us on a tier list. We're continuing we'll be continuing our tier list for the second half. Tune in after this short break. Welcome.
There's no rules here.
There's no rules here. Welcome back, everybody. There's no rules here. We are
No,
continuing. If you didn't watch it, however many episodes ago we were doing this, I don't remember which episode it was we were doing
not
this.
too long, but yeah, it's been a few.
Not too long ago, but we were doing a video game tier list of video game franchises and what we thought they where they belonged on a masterpiece, good, above average, mid, below average, trash list. And then we also have a section for never played if we've never played one of these franchises. And so we're going to continue that list. For those of you just joining in and you're only listening and can't see the screen right now, we currently have the Sims franchise as a masterpiece, Grand Theft Auto and Halo both as good, Red Dead and Mortal Kombat as above average, and Street Fighter as mid, and then we have never played the Mass Effect, Castlevania, Resident Evil, or the King of Fighters franchises. So that's where we're at right now.
And this is a long list. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that probably neither of us have ever played.
Yeah, there's going to be so many that we haven't ever played. First off, today, we've got this little versus symbol, and I'm not entirely sure I recognized which game. Do you know what this versus symbol is? Is that from...
I'm going to be honest, I don't even see the entire screen. So I think it's because I'm working on an iPad today. So I don't know what... Can you, like, drag it up into one of the columns or into one
here,
of the rows?
let me stick it here.
Oh,
is that Mortal Kombat?
wow.
What is that? No, Mortal Kombat's up here. Is that, what is that? That looks familiar,
that
though,
looks
right?
so familiar. I don't know. I guess for now, put it the one we don't know, but I'm not sure. It looks like I should know it.
For those of you watching this podcast that know what this is, you're probably screaming at us. I'm sure it's a fighting game franchise because it's versus, but I'm not sure what it is. Because we already have Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. We already have King of Fighters. So it could be, I don't think it's Virtua Fighter. I don't think it's... unless it's like Capcom versus DC, like versus or something. Anyway, I'll stick it in the never played because I just can't figure out what it is. Now, what do you think of the Battlefield?
I'm curious how much you have to say about it because I'm assuming if you may have more to say about it than me. I have experience with Battlefield, but I wouldn't say that I played it a ton. I remember the times that I played it. I played it during the kind of the earlier games.
Yeah.
Or maybe at this point, maybe even like... I mean, Battlefield's been around a long time. Here's what I remember from it. I remember playing it on, I think, like the Xbox 360 era and a little bit of, like, the next era, so, like, PS4, Xbox One era. And I remember thinking at the time that if I'm going to play a game like this... I'd rather play Call of Duty because Battlefield, I have to, like, if you're sniping, you have to worry about the wind.
Yeah.
And it's a little more realistic. I'm not saying it's a sim, but for me, in my opinion, it took the fun out of it for me, from at least what I played of it. So, but I don't have much to say. That's all I really remember from it, is that it seemed a little extra technical for my taste when it comes to a shooter.
Yeah, I kind of have the same feelings. I was more of a Call of Duty person, and Call of Duty felt a lot more frantic. Kind of like an arena shooter almost, and Battlefield felt more like, oh, well, this is for the nerds, like the war nerds, a little bit. Where
yeah, that makes sense.
It was a little bit too much effort and thinking, and you probably should be like, mic'd up and doing team-based stuff or whatever. It felt like too much work.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a slow burn. If this were like a movie, it would be a slow burn.
I've played a little bit. I think the most recent one was Battlefield 4 or something like that, and it was all right. I just never got into it. I'd probably put it... Like, I don't remember it being bad, so I'd probably put it in, like, the mid-tier, just as, like,
that's fine.
middle
I'm sure
of the group.
It's good for what it's trying to do. In fact, speaking of resets, didn't Battlefield do a reset? Didn't they have, like, a bunch of numbers? Then at one point, they just restarted and they were Battlefield again?
Yeah, they did some kind of reset, and they're, like, back in, like, I think World War II. But Call of Duty did, like, the same thing, too. Like, an alternative history, World War II or something. So, yeah, they kind of had a recent reset. I don't know what they're doing these days. I'm out.
Me neither.
I'm honestly out of the FPS game altogether these days.
Yeah. Me too, pretty much.
But this next one, have you ever played any Medal of Honor?
I have played Medal of Honor, I think, like one summer. and I remember the game I had was on the GameCube, but I don't remember much about it because I didn't like shooters at the time, not that early on. But that's all I got.
I think I only ever played one. If there was a second one, I'm not remembering it. Only one Medal of Honor game ever, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was Medal of Honor. And I think it was on the PlayStation 2, and my brother and I played a lot of the multiplayer shooting at each other or whatever. It wasn't online multiplayer. It might have had it on the PS2. I don't know. That wasn't a thing for us and my family at the time. But it had a campaign that I played through, and I actually kind of really remember enjoying Medal of Honor because while I didn't have a lot of experience playing Battlefield campaigns, Medal of Honor definitely felt like, oh, this is like Call of Duty, but like somehow less over the top and more grounded and more like,
yeah,
it was like almost like a little bit more depressing. Like war is bad, like you know what I mean?
Right.
And
it took itself very seriously from what I remember of it.
Yeah, a lot more seriously. But it wasn't super nerdy like Battlefield with like air trajectory. I mean, if it had it, I don't remember it being an issue. So it was kind of nerdy, but not super nerdy, and I kind of really remember enjoying it. My issue with it is that I only actually played like the one game, so I can't say it's like over the top crazy above average. So it'd probably go in the mid too as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's my take on Medal of Honor. That I enjoyed the one that I played, but I don't remember it being crazy anything.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
This one, Minecraft.
Okay.
I mean,
I already know that before I even talk about my feelings or your feelings about it, I already know that I want it to be. Now, I don't see what the names of the tiers are because my screen's cut off.
You can't even see that? You can't see the left side? Do I need to zoom?
That's the part that I can't see. Can you zoom out?
Can I zoom out? Yeah, maybe.
Or scoot over, maybe? Scoot to the left. I don't know if you can, like... There, I can see... Okay. If you zoom in one more, I can still see it, and it'll be a little bit bigger. There we go. I can see it now. Does that work for you? Is that okay?
That works for me just fine.
Okay.
I thought you couldn't see the bottom of the screen. I didn't know you couldn't see the left side. Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, Minecraft. So for me, it's either going to be, and we can talk about it, either under masterpiece or good for me. Now, Minecraft is one of those games, and I'm curious what your relationship is with it now. Because I know you and I both were huge in the Minecraft world when it was the new hot happening thing over a decade ago. And that bled into for a few years, and then it kind of fizzled out. But I have found that I've learned many people, millions of people, kind of have the same relationship I do, which is I may not play Minecraft all the time, but it's kind of like that warm blanket, and it's always there. And it's one of the few games that I will always go back to. It might be a year, maybe there's been a couple years maybe here and there. But then I'll really get into it again for a while, and then I'll kind of be done again. But there's just Minecraft grabbed me, and obviously pretty much everybody on the globe, in a way that pretty much no other game has. And I think that's why it has such lasting power. In fact, I know in the last few years it's had an uptick again in popularity. There was a lull for a while, but I know I only know this because I actually looked it up in Google Trends because I was just curious. And but that seems to be what it is. I don't know. Minecraft changed everything for me. Changed everything for games.
Changed my life forever.
No, but it did change a lot in the gaming industry at the time. It was just a completely unique thing that kind of took over for many degrees. How it looked, how it played, what it did, and it pretty much started. I know there's a couple things before Minecraft, but that really kind of started the whole crafting genre, kind of open sandbox crafting genre, and made it explode into what it is today. Say what you want about those games now being saturated, but you know what I mean. Right. It had to start somewhere, right? So for me, I like to consider Minecraft that warm blanket, and it's always a game that I will have fond memories of with you specifically, Weston, and lots of other friends too. And for me, I mean, I would put it at masterpiece. That's where I would put it.
I definitely think Minecraft, while there were crafting mechanics in games at the same time as Minecraft, even maybe before Minecraft is the reason like every AAA game has some crafting component in it. It's because Minecraft exists.
Exactly. Yep.
I will say, just to be a little devil's advocate on the masterpiece, A little bit. Is if we look at it as not just a game, though, as a franchise, we also have Minecraft. What was the name of Minecraft Heroes
Dungeons.
or what? Minecraft Dungeons.
Dungeons.
Minecraft Dungeons, which was the like kind of the Diablo sort of spin on
Yeah.
Minecraft, and Minecraft had that sort of it was like a Telltale adventure novel game.
Oh yeah, it did.
It
Yeah.
had that, which actually for a while, and maybe you still can. You can play on Netflix if you wanted to.
That's weird.
So Minecraft actually has had a couple other spin-off games now, worth mentioning that if I was going to be a devil's advocate for Masterpiece, if one were to argue that those other games are weaker,
Yeah.
that might bring down the Minecraft. But I would say overwhelmingly, because Minecraft, the main game, has changed so much and changed so much of the gaming industry, I think it has to go in Masterpiece as well. I just wanted to bring up those other games because as a franchise, it is more than just the one game now.
That's true. These are franchises.
Yeah.
That is true.
And I just wanted to put that out there that, little accolades, it's got these other games to check out that I haven't, I've played a bit of Dungeons and I thought it was enjoyable. It would have been a lot more fun with 3 other friends. I didn't have 4 people at a time. That would have been great.
Yeah.
And then I never played that other game, but it would be fun to look into. But yeah.
Well, that's something that I guess that we can mention because I played Dungeons just because Minecraft Dungeons came out at the same time I had Game Pass, so I was like, oh, well, I don't have to pay for it, so let me give it a shot, right? So I got that, and then Steph and I pretty much played through the whole game together. So I did have someone I played with, and it was super super fun. It's kind of Diablo light.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Diablo. I mean, I've seen people play it. I played a little bit of it a long time ago, not any of the new ones, but I do know it's just kind of like Diablo light. But that's not a hit at it.
No.
That's fine. What it does really well, and it's really fun. Someone like Stephanie could pick up a game like that, and she really enjoyed herself. She enjoyed upgrading her weapons every time there was time for a new run and all that stuff. She kind of got that loop, shoot into the loop, right?
Yeah, and, it was not anywhere near as deep as Diablo, but it wasn't trying to be.
Right. It was trying to, yeah, exactly. It was just a fun, this fun game. I really liked it. I even tried out. I never played the story mode, but there's that other one. It was like it was kind of like a strategy. I don't even know what the actual genre would be. It's much newer. It came out, I think, like in late 2023.
Oh, maybe I'm unfamiliar with this one.
Legends, I think. You kind of it's like a kind of battle strategy game. You like go to bases and like you like destroy camps, and then you build your own camp, and you build like a village of people that can help you gather resources, and then you go like fight more camps.
I think I do remember this coming out, and I was completely out of the loop. I forgot about it already.
It's interesting because they're pretty much taking the Minecraft brand. I'm going to call it a brand, and kind of just putting new kind of genre types underneath the brand.
See what sticks, yeah.
And I like a game like that on paper. I wasn't really hooked with it, but I also have to be in the mood for that sort of game, and I don't think I was at the time, but it was good. So I'd say even, I was just saying to your point,
yeah,
those games, for what they're trying to be, they may not be the heavy hitters that Minecraft was, but I don't think very few things could match Minecraft in terms of the impact it had. And even its own other games in the franchise. But for what they are still good games. So I think that does nothing but even, if nothing else, help the brand. Because we even talk about, it's kind of like The Sims, right? The Sims is a masterpiece, at least by our categories here. And you and I both aren't a huge fan. Like, you and I both don't love 4. I'll put it that way, right?
Some of 4. Yeah, some decisions.
Elements of 4. We see it the same way, the same page. There's some parts that are really great. But we both agree that 3 just could have been. I mean, I want to go back and play 3 because I put so many hours into that game.
I kind of do too. I kind of want to pick up some of the expansions that I never picked up, pick them up and play 3.
Dude, I'm not going to ask you to do this if you don't want to because we just talked about refresh. But if you stream that, I will cancel all my plans to watch you stream 3.
I've played around with the idea of doing a Sims playthrough or stream for a long time. Maybe I'll pull the trigger on that one day. There's a whole Sims community out there that maybe I'll tap into. Who knows? But
yeah,
I've played around with the idea. I've never pulled the trigger. Maybe one day we'll see. I don't know.
Pull the trigger. Kaboom.
Boom.
Pull it. So anyway, Minecraft is similar, right? There's maybe all the games aren't absolute incredible games, but none of them are bad. I think it's good as a masterpiece.
I think we're on the same page here. Forza is our next franchise to discuss. Do you have any experience with Forza racing?
I do have experience with Forza. I prefer Forza Horizon games over the main games because they're a little more on the fun arcadey side. They aren't like they're not full on arcade racers, which I prefer. I prefer those super fun racer games that have no physics, like no realistic physics involved, I should say. I could name a million of them. You know, I'm a big fan of racing games. Now, so Forza Horizon a lot. The other ones, the Forza just Motorsport, I think is what the other ones are called, just the mainline ones. They're good. They're incredible for what they are. Incredible graphics. Forza has always been like the graphics showcase games on the Xbox. Like that has always been, if you want to see what our machines can do, watch this game. That tends to be what their thing is.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Like every time a new console comes out, there'll be a Forza game like right there pretty close. It's like, look how shiny this looks. And it always looked really good.
And the games hold up still, even the older ones, like you go back, they still, they hold up great. But I don't know, for me, I can't compare it to my other racing games that I love because it's not really the same genre even. So there's a lot of differences. So, but I can appreciate it for what it is. And I don't know. What about you? Where's your? Do you have any experience with Forza?
Never played any of them.
Okay, well,
so this is on you where we're rating it because I've actually never played any of them myself. I think we had them. I think it showed one of the games. I think it was a Forza one. Showed up on like the PlayStation Plus membership. And my brother was playing a little bit of it, and he was getting frustrated because it's like a lot more. Whichever one we have is a lot more realistic. It's like, oh God, what does all this crap mean? So learning that learning curve, right? And I was watching him play a bit, and I'm like, I think I prefer the arcade ones, like you were talking about, the ones that are just plug play X to go, that kind of thing.
Exactly right, and that's what I like. So. Yeah. I think, but it's good at what it does. Both Forza and Gran Turismo are both games that are kind of similar. Like that's PlayStation's version of that, right? So I would say because of that, I don't want to give it a bad time here, but I'd put it either below average or mid. I don't know. I mean, at least you know what? I'll be honest with you. I probably would play Street Fighter, Medal of Honor, or Battlefield before Forza. So I guess I'd put it below average.
Okay, we'll put it there then.
Yeah.
Finally, our first game that goes below the mid-range. Shots fired at anyone out there that enjoys Forza games?
I know the Sim Racer fans are going to be like, yeah, we just lost half our audience.
Our next up, we talked about it a little bit already, Call of Duty.
Why don't you start?
Again, played a lot more Call of Duty. My big foray, I've played some of the older games. I forget what they were called. If it was just Call of Duty 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I really came to my own, like in terms of like playing Call of Duty a lot, wasn't until honestly Modern Warfare 2, the original one, not the new reboot one or whatever. Right. That's the one that I played an actual lot, and then I played quite a bit of 3. Those were my 2 games, and then a lot of Black Ops with our buddy Justin, in particular, the couch multiplayer on that one.
Fun memories.
And then I played a bit of the Advanced Warfare, but then after Advanced Warfare, I pretty much kind of stopped doing Call of Duty altogether. That was just when I was kind of not doing FPS in general for the most part, except for every now and again a rare game here or there, Cyberpunk or like Overwatch or whatever. But Call of Duty was definitely my thing over Battlefield, Medal of Honor. Always enjoyed it. Really hated playing online multiplayer with people that were either hacking or just better than me, which you never knew which because it looks the same to me.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
But I think on average, my enjoyment of it probably flirts around the above average, at least like above mid is what I'm thinking. I don't know how high up you want to go with it though. What do you think?
Well, I think I will first bring up kind of what you brought up with Minecraft. Call of Duty as a series has definitely garnered a new reputation in recent years.
That's true too.
So that's something to consider.
That's true.
Just kind of but I guess I'll share my experiences really quick. I'm surprised to say this, but my experience actually goes back farther than yours with Call of Duty. which I didn't think was going to be the case, but I started playing Call of Duty at Call of Duty 2 and 3 and World at War, and during like the PS2 era. And one of them one of those I think was on the 360, so it might have changed generations. But the point is, I played a lot of those older ones mainly because I had friends or like my cousins. Those games I consider cousin games because I only owned one Call of Duty game at that time. I think it was 3. And the rest my cousins had, and I would go play with them or like friends and stuff. And I had a lot of fun with the multiplayer. And then I started to play the campaigns as well later on. I went back. Which that was a big part of me for Call of Duty during this era was I didn't like the multiplayer as much as I liked going through the campaigns. As short as they were just kind of fun experiences. And I really kind of learned how to appreciate a shooter through Call of Duty. So, but then we shoot forward to like Modern Warfare 2 and tons of fun memories, once again, just with friends. Just for me, it was mainly still couch co-op at that time, and so much fun. And then we get into Black Ops, and that I was at the right age with Black Ops to where I put in probably more time in Black Ops. It's probably time between Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2 for me with the amount of time I put in. Because Black Ops was different, the story was different, right? But I really enjoyed it. And then I started to kind of waver like you did. Like I would kind of play it like there was 2 and there was 3, then there was I don't know if after 3 was Advanced Warfare. I don't know. It started to bounce around and it started to become very serialized. Like horribly serious. Like I remember a time, kids, when Call of Duty didn't come out every year because it didn't. And now it got to a point. I mean, this was years ago when it started doing that, but a little bit after I think the Black Ops days, it started doing every year, and it just kind of changed it. But during that era, kind of like you, I had that window of time where it was really fun. I never would say that like first-person shooters were my favorite genre, but if I were to even now go back to a first-person shooter, I would go back and say that it held up really well. I'd pick a Call of Duty game every time. So between either that or Halo, right? But that's a different kind of shooter. So
yeah,
I would put it. I have more fun memories with Halo. So like if you're thinking above average, I'm fine with putting it at above average.
You brought up a good point with its impact on gaming. Call of Duty, it's actually kind of hard to put into scope today because it's big today, but relatively speaking, in its heyday, like it was everything. Like when we talk about like it influenced every shooter was trying to be or beat Call of Duty and failing.
Right.
So in terms of impact, Call of Duty in the shooter space actually huge when we talk about like masterpiece games that like had an impact. But then in more recent years, it's definitely had that fall from its sort of golden age. So that you have a good point there where it's like I don't know where it falls in terms of like where the franchise really sits today. I just know back when it was really big. But with that in mind, maybe it does belong in the good zone. I can put it below Halo. I'm okay with that. But still in that same sphere as maybe a Halo. I was thinking above average for my own personal enjoyment, but that was a big point that you made there, that its impact as a franchise is undeniably huge. So maybe it goes into the good.
And using that criteria, it's up with the other games that also hold that title, right? Like impact, Halo. Huge impact, especially those first couple, right? Really kind of set the tone for just sci-fi shooters in general. Call of Duty, same thing. Grand Theft Auto, impact. Minecraft, impact. You know what I mean? It's up with the other greats, so I think it fits there, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I think we can put it there. My only thing that I'm looking at now, between masterpiece, is Minecraft more of a masterpiece than The Sims? Should I swap these? Or no? What do you think? I kind of feel like
I kind of want to.
I kind of feel like Minecraft goes above. It's a small change for those of you that can see our list, but I think Minecraft might go above Sims. They're both masterpieces.
But Sims is another game that I'll go back to too.
Yeah.
So like it's interesting, right? Same kind of thing. Like it's like that warm blanket game. Yeah. But either way, I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Let's do another one or two here because I feel like these are going to be short. Do you have any Doom experience? I
think I played it once, and it was one of the old ones, but I don't really have any memories. I know a lot about it because it's an iconic, also talk about impact at the time, right? for what it was for when it comes to
Right.
shooters. I mean, it was the shooter, right?
Yeah.
But I very little experience, and that's I want to change that because I feel like that is a blaring omission out of my video game experience. But I have not really played much Doom.
When I think of old classic, probably should be masterpiece shooters from a time before mine, I think Doom and I think Wolfenstein. But the thing is,
Yes.
I didn't play them. Doom, when it was big, was a PC shooter. That was not a thing I was playing when I was 5 years old, playing Spy Fox on the PC. It just wasn't a thing I was playing. So I didn't really have any experience with it, and neither did I have experience with it on consoles. So for me, Doom is a never played game, a never played franchise. I recognize its historical importance, but I haven't played it.
Right. And since I think I might have played it once, I'd still put it under never played.
Yeah.
Because it does not. I know it does not belong in below average or trash. I know
Right.
how important that game is, but it's better off putting it there than like at a place where just to find a mid-range spot for it. So
That's kind of how I feel. It's like I don't want to trash it because I know how important it is, but I can't say anything nice about it because I haven't played it to know. And then
Right.
I feel like probably in a similar vein, have you played any Guilty Gear?
I'll be honest, I've never even heard of that before.
Oh, I've at least heard of it. I have not played any of it. It's another like shooter type thing. I don't know a lot. I can't say much more than that. I'm going to just stick that in the never played.
Okay.
And then have you played any Persona games?
That's another one I know nothing about.
Me neither. I've seen people play some
heard good
Persona
things,
games,
yeah.
the new stuff, and it looks actually kind of up my alley, except a little maybe JRPG-y, but like, turn-based stuff. Like, it looks like it'd be a lot of fun. I'd enjoy it a lot. I've never played it. So we'll stick that in the never
Same.
played.
Yep.
That's why I was like, let's do a few of these quick ones. I don't even know. Do you recognize this symbol? I'm having a hard time reading it.
I have no idea what that is.
All right.
So I guess we never
Looks
played
like
it.
someone trying to be alchemical. That's going to go in never played. Someone who can see our screen can inform us what that is. We've got Wolfenstein. I actually mentioned it earlier. I've not played it, so we'll stick that in never played.
Yep.
Devil May Cry. You ever play any of those?
I'm familiar. I've seen gameplay. I've never played.
Me neither. It's going in never played.
Oh my gosh.
Bayonetta. Did you play any Bayonetta games?
No Bayonetta.
No Bayonetta for me either. I saw this whole
God.
list of games I had like never played. I'm like, we're gonna just start knocking these out.
I know, right?
And
clear them out.
We'll end
get
with
through it.
one that I have a tiny bit of experience with. Do you have any Lego experience?
Some. Yes, I do. Mine's very small, so I guess I'll just share it. For me, I've really only played, to my knowledge, to any like long degree, is the Harry Potter Lego games,
Oh.
and those were really fun. But that's all I've really played. But they were fun.
I have
I want to play that open world one, the city, Lego City or whatever.
maybe something like
Well,
that.
Lego City Undercover or something like that. It's like an open world. It's like Grand Theft Auto in the Lego universe. I always thought that looked kind of fun to try
See,
out.
there was a game. This is my little bit of Lego experience. Besides playing the Lego Star Wars games at a Walmart, playing the demo. Besides those, my only actual like real Lego game experience was, I think it was either called Lego Creator or Lego City, but it was an old CD that would come in like a cereal box type thing. So like it was one of those on PC that came out in the early 2000s that had like, it was just a giant sandbox and you could build little towns or people or you just build stuff and you could run around and do stuff in it. But it was like there was nothing to do. It was just quite literally a Lego set on your PC. And for what that was worth, as a child, that was a lot of fun. And that was the early 2000s. You couldn't ask for much more. Like, Minecraft wasn't a thing. It didn't have that to emulate. So that was pretty fun. But that's it. That's my experience, was that little
Interesting.
game. Yeah.
So I will say our friend of the show, Hayden, I know he listens to the show as well. Hayden probably knows a lot about that particular game you just talked about. He is a Lego game freak. He loves all the games. He's the reason why I played the Lego Batman. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Limited experience, but it's been fun of what I played. I would say, I'm assuming because it's Lego and they've like put their brand on every single franchise they could with games over the years. I'm assuming there's ups and downs, right? I'm assuming they can't all be winners. I don't know. I really don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they're all great. But it's hard to say because I feel like it's almost doing it a disservice to put it like below average, but I don't have enough experience to really say that it's like good either, you know?
I think the safest place for us would be just to put it in mid because we don't have any glowing things to say about it. I've heard it's well reviewed on everything, but I think for the safest position for us is just mid for now until we ever play more of it.
Right.
And that will be our list for today as we continue our foray into this list has 200 franchises. So, of course, you can see that we have plenty more to go. We'll have to save this list and continue it next time we have a video game vaguely related topic. That's going to do it for our show today. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Thank you all so much for listening or watching Profoundish. Before you go, I want to introduce you to my lovely co-host, Alex. Alex, if our lovely audience wants to see and hear more of you, where can they do so?
If you want to see and hear more of me, go to my landing page, alexduquette.net. I'm a music maker, which means I make music. You can hear my medleys. So right there, that's where I take a bunch of theme songs. Sometimes I do commercial jingles. I've done movie themes in the past as well. And I combine them all together into a short bite-sized song. And I divvy them out by genre or whatever, or television show network. So it's really fun. If you like nostalgic trips, go check that out. I'm also over there on my website. Don't even have to leave the website. You can go to my music tab and listen to my albums, my original music as well. That would mean a whole lot if you check that out too. So I think that's what I want to plug right now. Go check out my original music. Weston, what about you?
I have a landing page, westonhasty.com, where you can find all of the things that I do. In particular, what we discussed on the episode, you can check out my gaming stuff on YouTube at Magic Man Mo. Maybe catch a random stream on Twitch at Magic Man Mo as well. I'm in both places, mostly on YouTube. You can read my latest poetry book, Smiling for the Sky. It's available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle versions. Read for free if you already pay for Kindle Unlimited. And then more things to come in the future. That's all I'm going to really plug as far as that goes. Profoundish itself that you're listening to. Continue to listen to or watch us wherever you are. But before you go, make sure you like or subscribe or follow or favorite or 5-star, whatever you can do. Do that thing for us. We appreciate it. If you happen to be on Spotify, if there might be a little poll down below that you should go answer, or a Q&A you should go and answer. Alex loves reading those. We like to read them at the beginning of our podcasts when we remember to do so.
That's right. But also, I will say this, it also takes your feedback and your answering those polls for me to read them. So make sure you hop on there and do that, and I will read them.
So do that if you're over on the Spotify side of things. That's all we have for our show. Thank you all so much for joining us. And until next time, all right.